Welcome to day one of our masterclass series. Over the next 3 days, I'm giving access exclusively to my inner circle here to a process that might just blow your mind. At least I hope it will. This is really the internal look into our business, how we use AI, and a really different method of doing things, basically. And this is your chance to get an inside look. And I'm going to dive in quite a lot of detail over the next 3 days. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're going to be diving in every single day in depth to show you how this all works. Now, at the end of each day, you can let me know in the comments below the videos if you have any questions, and I'll be on hand to answer them as always. Whatever you need, let me know. A discussion you want to have, let me know. I'll come back to you. And of course, each day, different topics, so you can really dive in and get answers to the questions that you need based on the relevant video. If you dial in and commit to this process, you're going to develop a skill set so powerful that you can create your own demand. This is a process where you can pack your calendar with sales calls on autopilot day in, day out. You'll also use this process to deliver an exceptional result for your clients, which will give you complete confidence and clarity in your business. Not only that, I'm going to show you how we can create our own demand using AI. And again, this is a little bit of a different process. This is how we do this. We have been pretty bullish on AI. We've dedicated a lot of resources to it, learning the workings, the inner workings, the ins and outs of it, and making sure we're on the cutting edge of absolutely everything. For example, if you were in the group last week and you saw one of our latest releases on custom GPTs, we had that thing figured out the same day they released it because we're so bullish on it. We're really developing quickly. Now, I've been in this space for the last 6 or so years now, and I've seen just about everything. I've worked in every niche that you can think of, launching campaigns for an e-commerce client on a Monday, working leads for a chiropractor on a Tuesday, and running Google Ads on a Wednesday for auto body repair shops. I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it all. The process I'm diving into within this masterclass series is not something I learned in a textbook or through a course. It's something I learned through experience, and I can impart that experience onto you. This is the result of hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on ad spend through processes. This is the result of tweaking and iterating and making sure we get it right. Not necessarily from the perspective of teaching, but from actually delivering results. This is what we use, and we've refined that process to make sure I can impart that experience onto you and fast track your success. Now, over the years, I've been building funnel systems that work incredibly well. I've tested and iterated to no end. You wouldn't believe the amount of testing we've actually put into all of these processes. These funnel systems allow me to use paid advertising to drive traffic. The funnel then nurtures, educates, and qualifies the lead to book in for a sales call. They come on that call already educated on what's going on, and which is much easier, of course, to close. If they come on the call already knowing what we're doing, knowing how it works, understanding the system and process, it's so much easier to close. If they come on that sales call and they already understand how the system works, they have experienced the system themselves, they've actually lived that system, and that phone call is a result of that system, they can't deny that it works, right? It's a bit of a no-brainer for them. It's not a case of, oh, does this work, or show me proof that it works, or testimonials, or anything like that, or demos, or whatever, right? None of that. They know it works because they showed up to that phone call. The leads book in at any time. It doesn't matter whether you are sleeping, walking the dog, or skiing. It really doesn't matter. The leads book in on autopilot. And I've used this process on more offers and client offers that I can actually count. It works incredibly well. And there's no better feeling when you're driving and a call books in and it's just a notification on your phone, right? That's another opportunity for your business. You weren't going out hunting for that chance or that call or whatever it would be. That client comes to you, and it's a bit of a different mindset. It's a different psychology on the sales call as well when the client actually comes to you. In short, this allows you to create demand from a cold audience and get it to convert. If you could do this where you could drive traffic consistently, get leads booking in and closing, you'd have a pretty high leverage skill set, right? Because you'd be going out there getting a cold audience, you're finding someone, anyone, you're working them and getting them to book into the calendar, you're convincing them to book in that phone call amongst all the noise in the market. They don't know who you are, but you have the power to get them to book into a calendar. That's a pretty high leverage skill set. That's in demand, right? People want that. That means you can create your own demand. And that's what it's all about. It's not about learning quick fixes. This is about leveling up your skill set, taking your expertise to the next level and becoming extremely good at what you do. Yes, you want to pick the right skill to master. This one in particular will give you so much clarity. It will serve you for years and years, and it's going to allow you to make it rain. However, it takes a mindset. You have to want to level up. When I committed to this process, I committed to learning how it works. I can fast track that for you today, and I can make it easier, but you need to commit and dive in. If you become very good at the skill set, you can sell just about anything. If you can sell anything, you have a skill set that's absolutely indispensable because you can turn it to anything, right? Any offer, any product, any client, you can get that product or service to sell. That's the hard part, right? That's the hard work. People don't have that skill. That's why they hire other people. That's why they hire agencies. That's why they pay a lot of money to have it taken care of, because they don't know how to actually get it to sell. Think about all the SaaS companies, the software companies out there, right? They're incredibly good at building the product, but they never know how to sell it. What if you could develop the skill set and not just running a couple of marketing campaigns? What if you could learn that skill set on how to get things to sell? Might not be a fancy way of putting it, right? Might be not be the most romantic kind of phrase. But what if you could get stuff to sell online, on autopilot, to audiences that don't know who you are? That would be a magic skill to have, right? You would be indispensable at that point. The good news is we can leverage AI to do this by taking care of the heavy lifting. Now, over the last 5 years, we've used two specific systems to generate leads, two different funnels. Today, I'm going to cover the call booking funnel. If you can master this one system, you don't really have to do anything else. And you can not only generate your own leads whenever you want and you can also create demand for our clients. So you can actually you can foster your own demand. Imagine having the ability to create your own demand, turning it on and off like a tap, right? That would be incredible. It's actually really simple. We take a funnel that looks like this, right? It's very simple, very straightforward. You might have seen a funnel from like this from us before. This is it though. This is it, right? This is all we have to do is create this one. And this video is on repeat, right? This isn't a huge funnel. It's pretty short actually. I've just got it repeating so you can keep up and watch the funnel itself. Very simple, right? We've got a VSL at the top here, a video sales letter. We've got a bit of a descriptor, a longer section. We've got some case studies in there. We've got a visual of a process or a system, which I'll show you in the next slide. And we've got some reviews, right? The reviews, good to have. You don't really have to have them in this scenario. Why is that? Because we can actually get those calls booking in using this system, and then we sell the client this same process in their business. So by actually experiencing the system, it proves to the client that it works. And that's the magic of the process that we're working with here. This is experiential marketing, right? There's so many companies out there. When I was in Toronto, there's companies like Nespresso, right, or Pepsi. They shifted all their marketing from standard marketing to experiential marketing, which is where they would host massive events, and it was always at Christmas time, and you could go down and get free coffee, and it would have like a winter wonderland type thing. But I remember that, right? I remember that because I experienced it, not because I saw an advert for it. I personally experienced that. I went and I got like 25 coffees day after day. Probably not what they intended, but I did. And I remembered it because I experienced it. That's the difference. What we're doing here is we're allowing a client to actually experience the system before they even implement it. Think about the AI bots that you've seen, right? They're popping up everywhere, where they can open the conversation with the client, or they can open the conversation and you can actually feel what it looks like to go through that automation, right? To work with that AI. That convinces you, if it's good, obviously, to invest in it, to implement it for yourself. That's the difference. You're experiencing it. We're just doing that on a bigger scale, a better scale, where they're booking in that phone call by going through the funnel. We then sell them the same system. That is powerful. That's powerful marketing, right? They're not going to come on that call and ask you about, does the system work, right? Because they lived it. They're not going to ask for tons of reviews or testimonials because, again, they look for that for proof that it works. They are living proof that it works. They're sitting in front of you because it works. That's the difference. And that's how we can take you to that next level. Now, we take a funnel system overall that looks like this. Now, this might look complicated, but it's not. It's very simple, right? I'll walk you through it. On the left-hand side, you've got your traffic sources. This could be Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn, Google, YouTube, TikTok, you name it. All it is a traffic source. You can use any of these platforms. You can even use cold email to do this, or LinkedIn viral content marketing. You could use any of these traffic sources. All we're looking to do is drive traffic straight to a landing page, right? That's it. I don't care what it is. The ads themselves are not really the most important thing. And here's a little insight. Unless you're working in e-commerce, where the ads have a little bit more importance, where they've got to build the brand a bit more and the direct sales coming from them. If you're working with sales calls and leads, the ads don't actually have that much of an importance, right? We want them to be consistent between what they read on the ad, what they see on the creative, and the landing page, because it allows the landing page to convert better. But all it's doing is finding finding traffic that would somewhat be a fit and send it to the landing page. If it works, or if they're the right fit, the landing page will convert them. So I'm not really spending too much time on the ads themselves. They're very simple. I keep it very simple every single time. I like to use static images. I don't spend huge amounts of time mastering ad campaigns because it's just a traffic source. What I am spending time on, and what we've spent a lot of our time on previously, is mastering the funnel and landing page itself, because that's what does the talking for us, right? That's what achieves the conversion. Facebook or Instagram or whatever the platform is, they're basically they're throwing spaghetti at the wall. They're just throwing it in the right direction, right? They're testing a lot of different pockets of traffic. And if you've ever run ad campaigns before, you probably know that it works in waves. I like to kind of think of it as hot pockets, right? You're going to hit times where your ads are absolutely killing it. Then you're going to hit dry spells. And that happens because it's going to find a good pocket of audience on the left over here. Then it's going to test a different pocket of audience and see if that converts. Maybe doesn't work. It's going to try a different pocket of audience and see if that works and get the conversions. It's just testing different pockets to see what works for you, right? So we have to let it do its job. And that's why, if you've been researching a lot of ad campaigns and such over the last, say, 6 months or so, a lot of people are saying that broad targeting and even having no interest at all is working best for them. And really that's because they're realizing that they allow the algorithm to find the pockets for them using the ad copy and the ad creative. As long as we keep that, written in a specific way, which we have, and written and have the creative itself in a specific way, which speaks to our target customer, then it's going to find the right audience for us. So that's the attention we need to give to ads. It's not really that complicated. It's simply a traffic source. That's what we use it as. Then we move on to the landing pages themselves. Now, oftentimes, long-term, we want a lead opt-in page. So where they leave their email, and then if they opt in, they move on to what I call an asset-backed qualification funnel, a video sales letter as well, which is what I showed you in the last slide. It's a long-form funnel where it has the VSL, the video sales letter, 20, 25 minutes. I'd say about 15 to 25 minutes in those boundaries. I often end up planning for 15 and doing 25, but that's basically what I'm looking for, 15 to 25 minute video. And on that page, the text, the copy that you see is basically the same thing that's said on the video, but in text, right? I'm repeating it for the different type of buyer, the person who's not necessarily going to watch all of the video and they just want to read it and get to the point straight away. Some people want to watch the video. They want to be educated and listen to the information and have sense your personality behind the scenes a little bit. That's how that works. There's two different types of buyers. And that video, which I'll dive into in the future videos, is built in a specific way as well, right? You've got the type of buyer who, and this is actually a question I get quite often, why is it 15 to 25 minutes? A lot of the videos are, sometimes they're 5 minutes, or sometimes they're 60 minutes, or webinar could be 90 to 2 hours long. And the people ask me that question, why is the video specifically 15 to 25 minutes? Well, the reason for that is because I'm targeting the different types of buyers each time. So you could be a buyer like myself, right? I'm someone who will watch 2 or 3 minutes of the video, get a gist of it, and book in the call because I just want to get straight to the point, right? So that being said, I'm going to cater that video to have an action-packed 2 to 4 minutes at that type of buyer. Then you're going to move on to having someone who needs a little bit more, right? They want to understand the system. So I'll show them diagrams like this, where they understand the process and they understand the inner workings of it. And they think, yeah, okay, you know what? I understand that. This is a logical process. I like that. I'm going to book that phone call. Then I'm going to move on to parts where we show some proof for the person, the type of buyer who they understand the system, but they need that little bit of encouragement of, oh yeah, this does work, this does look good. And I'll take them through some case studies of the process. And then finally, the tail end of the video, I'm going to dive into some numbers, which I'm explaining to the buyer, okay, what I call an analytical buyer, the person who needs to see the numbers. Do the numbers make sense for me? If I spend $1,000 in ads, what does it look like for me, right? What's my return on that on average? That's the analytical buyer. That's the person that wants to see the numbers and will then book in that phone call. So the video is carefully designed to target each different type of buyer. And that's how we can swoop up the biggest amount or the most amount of buyers, or buyers who book a call into our calendar. That's the key. That's why that video is so specifically set out. And then, of course, the long form text on the page is designed for the person that just wants to read the text, which is a fair amount of people as well. I often like to watch a couple of minutes of videos, scroll to the text, get my head around it, book a call. That's what I do, right? And I want to gear for myself as well. So this funnel is built in a very specific way. Now, oftentimes you might see us actually go, ignore that opt-in page, not create an opt-in page at the start, and go straight to that qualification funnel. There's a reason for that. An opt-in page is wonderful for long-term strategies where we want to gather as many leads as possible, and we want to gather the email, and we want to nurture them for the long term using like long-form, long-tail email campaigns. If we have that opt-in page at the front, we have, on a good day, 50% of the people who click coming in, opting in, and watching the video. On a bad day, you'll get 25% of people. So we lose a quarter or 3/4 of the people that clicks at the opt-in stage. Now, long-term strategy, this is great. This is fine, no problems, because I want to build the email list and I can nurture and get a larger portion of the buyers to convert over the course of 6 to 12 months. Great for long-term strategy. It will be more profitable. But think about it. I want calls as fast as possible for myself and for my clients. I don't want to dilute that audience. I don't want to lose 75% of my audience before they've even seen the video. What if I don't know the video converts yet, right? It's going to take me 4 times as long to figure that out if I'm diluting the audience by 75% on a bad day or 50% on a good day. It's going to take me double or 4 times the amount of time to figure that stuff out. So oftentimes we'll start by driving all the traffic from the ad sources on the left here straight to that VSL, the call booking page, the asset back qualification funnel, right? Which also has a calendar on it. So we're cutting that middle step out. Yes, I'm not gathering emails from everybody. I'm losing the long term, but I'm going to have a faster start. I'm going to get momentum. Then once I've got a proven video, once I know it converts, once I know the whole system works, I'll place the opt-in page in front to maximize my return, collect those emails, and I've got a long-term strategy. So you'll see the different ways we use the strategy depending on if we have the short-term focus, the long-term focus. Oftentimes you want to give a client a quick win, right? So we go straight to the asset-backed qualification funnel. We book in calls really quickly and they close some deals. instead of diluting the traffic before we even begin. So that's a little bit of information or a little bit of background on this system. Now, this is the whole system that we implement for this client. We've got different retargeting ads and follow-up sequences. We've got automations that kick in through Go High Level. We've got automations that kick in through email, depending on where the person is. If they book a phone call, great. If they don't book that phone call, they've got retargeting ads, or they've got, if we use the opt-in page, they've got sequences to get them to book that phone call. If they book the call and don't show up, I've got no-show sequences. If they book the call and a sales rep or yourself takes the call, or the client takes the call and doesn't close them, we've also got asset-backed follow-up sequences on the back end that show them what they're missing out on, basically to get them back in the calendar. And oftentimes, if we get them back into the calendar, they're going to close. So this whole system is engineered to make sure that if you look at the middle of that image, right, it's a straight line. It moves the person along, and there's different parts where the person can fall off that straight line. Everything is designed to work like a circle. It gets the person back onto the line towards that close, right? Making bank on the right-hand side, which is what that logo is. So I chuckled to myself when we created that. Anyway, bad jokes. That's the purpose, is to get the person back on the line every single time, whether that's through email, text, retargeting campaigns. This is the full ecosystem, the full infrastructure, right? We implement this. This works really, really well. Now, moving on from this, hopefully this makes sense, and this is probably the part you might have questions about. Ask me in the comments. Pause this if you want to. That's why I didn't do it live, because I want you to pause it and digest it. If you have questions about this, ask me in the comments. I'm happy to answer whatever you need. Now, the video sales letter is where we make our money. Skip forward the slide there. The video sales letter is where we make our money, right? That video itself, that is incredibly powerful. If we create that video properly, it will book more calls than you can even imagine. So essentially, the video sales letter is where the magic happens. Now, I mentioned that's 15 to 25 minutes. Let's average that out at 20 minutes. You might think, how on earth can I create a 20-minute video that actually works and converts? Listen, these scripts for a video of that length, a 15 to 25 minutes, say 20 on average, a video of that length is going to be 2,000 to 3,000 words, sometimes even more. And that probably sounds really difficult and something that takes a huge amount of experience. I mean, 2,000 words, that's no easy task, right? To produce a 2,000 word script in a specific format that actually works. Obviously, the reward for doing the hard work is incredible, right? These systems can basically print money, but you've got 2,000 words to write here. Well, I've got a secret to let you in on today as part one and day one of this masterclass workshop. Yes, writing the video script takes experience. Sure, I'll give you that. However, the good news is AI exists. Now, if you go ahead and you go and ask ChatGPT to produce a video sales letter script, you're getting nonsense back. It won't work. It's actually going to give you like a movie script. That's what comes back. Even if you ask it for a video sales letter, you're getting some weird movie script back. Doesn't really work. The script has to be built in a really specific way. It has to follow a certain style and say certain things at the right time. Everything is pre-planned. I mentioned the different types of buyers, right? You've got the one that's a fast buyer. You've got the one that needs a bit of trust. You've got one that wants to understand the system. And you've got one that needs the numbers, right? The analytical buyer. I've got to have that structure coming back because it produces the best conversion rate. ChatGPT is not going to give me that. But the secret, we have built an AI process that can churn video scripts like this in my exact format and style. The format, we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars testing and working, and not just testing. We didn't just throw a couple of $100,000 at it and test. We spent that because we were generating revenue for ourselves. And even more, that's from my pocket, right? I'm not talking about ad spend from our clients as well. We know this system works incredibly well, and it has to follow that specific structure. And it takes experience to do that unless you have AI building this in a matter of minutes, right? That's the difference. That's what we're doing here today. You can basically take any offer that you have out there, anything at all, and produce information like this. All we have to do is complete the information, the prompts here, right? This, not prompts, the headlines, we'll call them headlines. You've got your target markets. You've got the type of person that wants to buy the service, the target audience. And then we look at the first goal that they want to achieve. What is that first goal? What stands in their way to achieve that goal? What other goals do they have? What other challenges get in their way? Do they have any reason they use, like an objection, to not move ahead? And what can we deliver to them? So these are the fields, right? These are the things that we have to fill out and provide answers to. If we feed ChatGPT this information using our exact prompt structure, it will use this information and produce the complete video script that we need in the format that we need. Think about it. That was a tiny, let's have a look at it again, a tiny little short paragraph here, right? And we're looking for maybe 2-3 lines per headline there, right? Not a lot of information at all. And what we're telling you here is that we can feed ChatGPT that information and it's going to produce this script the exact way I do it, as if I was writing it for you, out. That's what it's going to give you, right? A high converting script. And this is important because this script, this exact script, has generated well over 7 figures. I know this script works. This is what I default to every single time. It works incredibly well, and I just use it every single time and time again. In fact, we plugged this into a client's business, and it generated $650,000 in 6 months from launch. This was a business that was stuck at maybe about the 10 to 15K a month mark with a product. Then they started doing 100K a month because of this structure, right? This was what they did. It booked hundreds upon hundreds of sales calls. We put this script in our own business. 152 sales calls in 14 days. 14 days. Imagine that. You'd probably die, right? That, I'll tell you, that's a lot of sales calls. It's an insane amount of sales calls. Now, you might think, well, what does it actually look like? What do those headlines look like when they're filled out? It must be a ton of information, right? No. Here's a working example of the type of information that we'd feed the system. It's not really that long at all. So for target market, let's say it was a home service business. That's our target market, our client's target market, home service business. The target audience was home service business owners who want to significantly increase their sales without spending a fortune on SEO or paid advertising. What was their primary goal? To bring in high-value customers on autopilot with a strong return on investment. What is it that's standing in their way? Spending a fortune on SEO or paid ads without getting results because it's so competitive, competing with other businesses for the same client. I'm basically repeating the same points here, right? But there's a reason for that. There's purpose. What other goals do they have? Well, they want to become the authority in the industry, getting large commercial accounts and clients. What other challenges do they have? Well, they're tired of dealing with the tire kickers and low budget prospects, just taking on any client they can find and juggling low value clients. What objections might they have? Well, they're spending money on advertising or SEO and not getting the results, and they don't have time to focus on marketing, and they just need a system that brings in good leads. What can we deliver to them? Google will recommend your business for your target keywords in the next 120 days or you don't pay. This allows you to get in first before your competitors and dominate the entire first page, attracting the highest quality leads. High value, high intent leads will see your business first. And that's it, right? That is how we fill it. That's not a lot of information. I said a couple of lines. Some of them even are 1 line. Some of them are 3 words. So I'm basically telling you here, and you could be thinking, you're telling me I can take that little bit of information, I can feed it to ChatGPT, and it can produce a script, the exact script that we use in that format that has the capability to book a stupid amount of sales calls. Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. That's how this works. That's the magic behind what we're doing here, right? You could take this information if you want to, and you could copy it into ChatGPT, and you could take this information here, copy it all, and take it to ChatGPT and say, produce a video sales letter. You think, I've got the answer here, can just do that. You receive absolute nonsense back. I promise you. The secret is in the way that we pre-train ChatGPT and how we actually do this. That's the difference. So it's about the information we feed it, that paragraph, but the work we've done before this happens, which we've automated, the work we've done before this happens is what produces the script. So let's digest what's actually happening here. We have a video sales letter format that has made millions. This script, the scripts that we produce, used to take us 2 weeks to write for each client, and it was absolutely mentally draining. It was rough. Yes, it was very important, but it took us forever to do it. Now, we have produced a process that can generate the exact same script in a matter of minutes. The opportunity here is insane. Think about that, right? Something that used to take us 14 days, something that was worth a huge amount of money, can now be done in a matter of minutes. You could take this process, commit to it, and have the ability to produce funnels that work incredibly well time after time after time, making it rain for your clients and, of course, yourself. And the learning curve has been slashed, literally slashed, because of AI. Now, let me take it one step further here. The sales funnel that we build for the client, that's a consideration, right? We've got the copy on that page. I showed you an example of the funnel. We've got all the copy on that page. The funnel's built in a very specific format too. And I appreciate that could be intimidating. How do you create the funnels? Yeah, you can create the video script using AI, but what about the copywriting? That's an art form, right? The copywriting. Well, we've systemized that too. This means that you can take that funnel, go through it section by section with the offer information provided, and have the copy that fits into each slot created in seconds. So you can just go wham, wham, wham. The copy's produced in that format. So you can whiz through these funnels using this structure. You can have the script written, you can have the funnel created, and it's all done with AI following the same format. It's not the generic stuff, the generic fluff that you see out there. No, this is following our structures. We've done the exact same thing with the ad copy. I run paid ads every single day. And you're probably watching this video because at one point or other, you saw an ad, right? Maybe it could have been years ago, but you probably saw an ad and you joined the community. I know how to get paid ads to work time and time again. I've taken the process I go through in my head to produce the copy, and I've systemized it with AI to follow the same process. So you can basically take the process I use, what's in my head, to create that copy and plug it into your business and plug it into your client's business. This means that you can take the video script, the funnel copy, and the ad copy and have high converting copy printed out for any offer that you feed it. Think about the power. Think about it. You can leverage AI with an incredibly lucrative system and fulfill rapidly. If you learn this skill, if you learn this process, you can make it rain. You can be that person, right? You can be that person that generates the revenue. You don't just perform some services, you generate that revenue. Learning that system has become much, much easier because we're using AI to do it. Yes, I want to teach you the ropes. Yes, I want to show you how it all works and understand it to make sure you actually know what's going on. But the fulfillment, which is the hardest word I struggle to say every single time, the fulfillment is done through AI. A certified acquisition expert charges $7,500 for the expertise to build this funnel system out. $7,500. Now, why would a client pay that fee for the build out, right? You think, well, okay, that's a larger amount to charge for a build out. Why would they pay that, especially if it's done with AI? Well, it's for the expertise, right? The niches that we target with this process sell products at normally $5,000 plus. That's usually the minimum they charge. We build this system once, one time, build out. They have it for life. We can do it rapidly. We can do it in 30 days, but honestly, with AI, we can do it even faster. And I'll show you in a second my record. This means if they make 2 sales in all of their efforts, they're profitable. If they make just 1 sale a month for a year, they turn it into $60,000. Just 1 sale. Think about it. That's a struggling business, right? We expect them to make 1 sale every 3 days, never mind 1 single sale a month. One sale a month that made $60,000 from that one-time investment. That's an insane return on investment for it. Makes complete sense to pay to have the system built out for them, right? I want to pay you. Would a client pay $7,500 for a machine that can deliver 60,000 even if they barely do any work for an entire year? Of course they would. Of course they would. This means that you can create a system that creates demand for clients, charge $7,500 to implement it, and have it fulfilled, here we go again, fulfilled rapidly. My record is 4 days, start to finish. The whole system that you saw, right? The whole thing, 4 days, start to finish, A to Z, whole system built out, $7,500 done and dusted. That's fast, but that's what you can do because of AI. Long story short, I've made the fulfillment process, nailed it that time, significantly easier. The learning curve is so much shorter. AI isn't going to create a high conversion sales system for you. You need to know how to use it. Now, time for one of my favorite quotes. AI won't replace you. You will be replaced by someone who knows how to use it better than you do. I heard this quote a few weeks ago from Alex Hormozi listening to his podcast during my annual gym session, and it was really, really good. I love that quote, and it really stuck with me. As soon as I heard it, I thought, geez, you know what? That's true. That's true, because you see it all the time. In fact, I heard a quote, saw a post actually in a Facebook group, an agency Facebook group. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the ones. And it said something along the lines of, is anyone else losing clients because they're switching to agencies that use AI? And that's when it clicked for me. I thought, hold on. Yeah, this is true, actually. Look at how fast we can operate, right? We can build a website in a day. Look how fast we can operate because we can use this. So AI is not going to replace you, but you're going to be replaced by someone who knows how to use it better than you do. So let's make sure that we know how to use this really well. So now that you've seen how much easier the fulfillment can be, this is the entire system just to remind you. And I always say, if you can learn this one skill, your life is going to transform. You're going to have the power to create your own demand. You can turn the lead generation switch on and off whenever you want it. You can basically do this for a client. You can turn it on, have leads flow in. You can turn it off when they've got too many calls. You have that power. You have that capability, right? This is the entire system. If you were to look at an entire business, right, and you think, okay, I need to have a clear vision of what we do and how we do it. This image is everything. We build the ads, we build the funnel, we build the follow-up sequences, all in a very specific way. That's the entire implementation, right? Incredibly powerful. The secret, in fact, is actually a unique process to implement this whole thing in 30 days. That's fast already, right? That is fast. Very few people can actually do this, and this is something that we do. And not very many people out there do this, and that's why it's so unique. How about we turn that into 7 days or 4 days on my record, right? That's insanely fast. For a system of this level, that's insanely fast. And that's where we're progressing to, and that's where I want to take you to. You can implement this entire system in a client's business rapidly. Listen, I'd always give it 30 days just because I like to take my time with things. I don't like to be rushed and stressed. But the reality is you can wrap the whole thing up in a week. Imagine that. A 7,500 deal fulfilled in a single week. That's kind of crazy, right? You could do 4 of them a week because the system has been so refined and smooth. You could do 4 per week and have help to do it, because the reality is an assistant you don't have to hire a really expensive copywriter or a funnel builder anymore, right? You use the structures that are already built. You use the AI systems that produce and do the thinking for you. They work on the information, the education that we've already given it. It produces the copy for you in that format, right? You don't have to do the thinking. So you can have someone just follow that process A to Z, just clicking the buttons for you. And that means you don't need that expert copywriter. You don't need that expert funnel builder. It's already done. So you could hire a team, outsourced, that just click the buttons for you. Have 4 of them done per week. What is that? That's what, 16 in a single month, right? $7,500 times 16, Not that good at fast math, so whatever that works out. It's not bad, right? You could probably buy a couple of dinners with that. That's the reality. I'm not saying this to say it's extremely easy, right? This isn't an easy process. This is easy because we've made it easy, right? We've put the heavy lifting, we've done the hard work in the background to make it a lot easier. And that's what can be done if you learn the ropes of how to do this, right? You can implement the whole system incredibly fast. If you learn how to do this, your 2024 is going to be huge. It's simple, it's crystal clear. You learn this skill and master it. You use AI to go faster than anybody else. You have a power offer at your finger that can scale rapidly. You can target markets that need this right now. The demand is there. They need a fast build out. They don't want to wait around, and they're willing to pay because the numbers behind it make it an absolute no brainer. To make it even stronger, you get ahead of the curve by leveraging AI to do this, and you can work magic to make it rain. And also think about it. When they book a sales call into your calendar, they experience the entire system for themselves. They're on the call as a result of the system. It's proof that it works. The purpose of today's masterclass was to show you what's possible. And I'm going to leave you on that note today to digest. Tomorrow, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I like to do this day by day where you can ask me questions about this specific process. You can pause the videos, you can go back, rewatch your part. You can ask me questions about this particular topic today, and I'll have them answered, okay? But other than that, thank you for watching to this point in the video, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of this masterclass.